All right. So it's 3:31 and I'm calling this meeting of the Communications and Outreach Subcommittee to order. We don't have anybody from the public here. So the next item on our agenda is just an opportunity for member updates. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? No? Okay.
I can.
Okay,
I have a quick update. So, Anthony recently provided me with the newsletter, and I sent it out to the GMS student body. But I have not, Anthony. I have not received a message back. I believe I blind copied you on that email, Anthony.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
receive that?
I was on it. I saw it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys think I should like resend it, or because I sent it to Mr. Tetralt, Miss Hammer, Mr. Cedrone, and Mr. Colantoni, and none of them responded, and they didn't send it out. So I don't know.
just like
When did you send that?
I believe, one second, let me find it. On Friday, last Friday.
Okay, so they maybe they can send it at the after everyone comes back. Do you want to wait till they? What do you think? Or do you think it's good to?
I don't know, because it's already almost the end of November, and
was it a quarterly newsletter?
It was
it's
for
the bi-monthly.
September and October.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, that was my bad. I sent it to Ali later on. That was my bad. But
I wonder if
I could, if they don't answer in 2 days, I could. Miss McLeod's been really good with communication with me. I could send it back to her and be like, like another middle school member, Ali's having trouble getting in contact with like the middle school administration. I was just wondering if you could possibly send this out to them and have the middle school parents be able to see this as well.
Yeah, that would be really helpful, because this isn't the first time, because I've been sending a couple, like more than one instances with Mr. Colantoni, and he's never responded. And I do realize that he's a super busy person. So I just don't know.
Well, if our goal is the parents, I think the PTO is a better avenue in there. Remember, Ms. DeCourcy was like,
oh yeah,
that, and they send a newsletter. So if your goal is the parents, I thought it was for student body. So if it's for the parents, let's go the PTO route, because they have the parent email list, and they have a newsletter that includes the update from the school nurses. And that's what all the parents read, because it's a one-shot deal for all the information.
So I have Ms. DeCourcy's email address, and I can send that the newsletter out to her so she can send it to the PTO.
Yeah, could you just ask her to put a link to it in your next newsletter? Is there a way to link to it?
Yeah. Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well, sometimes they'll embed in the newsletter, they'll say, and here's the, how many pages is it again?
I think it's only 2.
Okay,
yeah,
well, you can ask
yes,
her.
2. Okay, yes, I will. Yes, I will do that. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Super great. Oh, were you going to say something, Anthony?
Oh no, I was gonna say cool, like wonderful. I haven't really looked that out.
I feel that it's a tradition for me to say that the Facebook is still dry. I'm just gonna put that out there for this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And get some spice in there.
How many followers do you have on the Facebook, Lauren?
Let me check. It's not a ton.
We got some more Instagram followers too.
Yeah, we have a good following on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, I'll check that.
So one thing that I recommend, like with the Youth Action Team and other groups, even for me with the coalition, is that I follow a lot of other coalitions on there, like all over the country. And then I try to do similar posts. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And they got a lot of engagement with that. So if you guys could, like Lauren, you could find other youth councils, and the same thing, Alyssa, on who's running the Instagram. Okay. Same thing, there are other youth councils across the country, and if you follow them, then you might get some ideas for posts, or even,
Mhm.
you know, hey, it's National Act of Kindness Day, you know, and do those types of things.
Yeah.
I think we have 53 likes, which
Oh,
like I feel like that's
it went up.
decent for Facebook, but I think we
Yeah.
could, you know, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
probably more room to grow.
Yeah. We have 184 followers on Instagram. So
So
it's
what
good.
I could do with Facebook too is put, I could take, I wonder, because I'm not the administrator, if I could invite people to like it, even if I'm not the administrator. I think I can.
I think
Like,
I think you can. I know I posted like on my personal Facebook. I mean, I don't really use it, but I shared our page to Wakefield community group, which I was very nervous about because we all know it can get a little dicey there. Like one of the first posts just so people could like it. And then when we put out the press release for the logo, there's a group that I'm on, the young people of Wakefield community group. And it's a lot of people our age and kind of like 20-ish year olds. And so I shared that because I know we all kind of have the same views on that. And so I got a lot of positive feedback from that, which was good. So I think people know about our page, but it might be helpful for us to share it or boost it maybe.
yes.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
agree.
if you're interested in boosting it, Lauren, maybe once we have, like, if we have a good, really good post that we want to really get the word out about, then that's a good opportunity for a boost. And then someone likes it, and then you invite them to like the page. So that way they're coming, and it's not, they're coming for the content, or they're coming for some sort of engagement.
Yeah, I definitely think that could be something that's helpful. And basically the same thing over here with Instagram. We put the press release up. There was a little controversy, but it was okay.
Yeah, and do you guys have any, is there anything that you think the youth council could benefit from as far as like looking for trainings, or like, would you like an area expert on social media to come and like give you guys a lesson or anything, like, you know, not a lesson, but you know, like here's how to run a group or a professional social media page? What do you
I
think?
think that would be good. Yeah. I think that would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're like running it, especially Alyssa, like the way you guys and like Jack, like the way we handled that whole thing on Instagram, I think it was super professional, and I think we're all really mature in that sense. But I think, you know, maybe there's a certain way that we can, like certain type of language that we can use on our posts, or maybe there's a certain time of day that would be good to post. So I think it might be helpful in that aspect if
Yeah.
that's what we're looking for.
I have the account set up so I can see like kind of analytics, sort of like the post insights. So I mean, I looked at that before, but it was just like late on a Thursday or Friday, and I was like, okay. So
Well, if it gives, for what it's worth, I was just in a meeting with Jen McDonald, our communications director, and she says she's been loving the Instagram posts and the meet the members and stuff like that. So she was giving it a thumbs up. So
good to
you guys
know.
are right on the right track. And I think Lauren's right. Maybe what it is that you can learn, okay, how do we get these? I think the polls were great, but like how to get that engagement, so you do have a dialogue of young people going on, and like when's the best time to post something to an adult audience. For some reason I read like Tuesday afternoon or something, like that might have changed. And then for a youth audience, that's going to be different because they're not sitting at their, you know, computers or whatever, all in the same 9-to-5 experience. So what I can do, does anyone know anyone that works in the field of social media?
No.
Okay. All right. I will ask around and see if I can get someone to do a presentation for. Do you think it should be just for the subcommittee, or do you think it should be for the whole youth council?
I feel like it may be better. Oh, I'm sorry, you can go, Alyssa.
I was gonna say I think it might be better if it's like just for us. Cause like nothing against like the rest of the council, just I don't know if we should like subject them to that if they're not like actively working on it. I kind of feel like it might, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing bad about having it for everybody, but just a
I
thought.
think, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like want to bore anyone, but at the same time, there might be a benefit to doing it just in terms of like future years. Like, you know, I'm thinking Ali or like Jenna or Amelia or Thomas. Like, if you guys see that and you're like, oh, like I want to do that, you know, then we don't have to do it every year. I mean, we probably can.
Yeah.
But I think that might be a benefit, but I don't have a preference.
Yeah, I definitely agree
I
with
definitely
Lauren
don't.
on that too. Oh, sorry, Anthony. I keep interrupting
No, that's
you.
fine. Don't worry. No
Oh,
worries. I don't have a preference either, but sort of off of what Lauren was saying, I think that if someone is to, I feel like anyone can maybe join the subcommittee in the near future. We're obviously completely open to people joining, so I feel like maybe having it to available to the entire youth council may be beneficial for the short-term and long-term future.
Okay. All right. And along those lines, if you can think of any other trainings that you would like, because we have a lot of talented people that live in this community and that work in this community. So if there are topics that you think would be beneficial to specific subcommittees or to everyone in general, let me know, because that would be, I know people would, you know, love to help this group out. And I'm looking forward to, I think I'll learn a lot from that social media training. Oh, I had one other thing that I saw on Julie Smith Galvin posted on Facebook that there's a meeting tomorrow night for, it was for like safe streets and roads and around Wakefield. And I think we should, I'll invite Maggie to it, but I'll also send it. Do you think I should send it to the whole youth council in case anyone else is interested in attending? Because I think it's really about like future planning and engineering for the town and considering walkers and bikers along with cars, because a lot of engineering is focused so much on cars and not as much walkers and bikers. And if we could have more of the youth voice at that meeting tomorrow night, that would be great. Okay, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. So the next item on the agenda is discussion on our mental health outreach. And there's nobody else from the rest of the council here, so I guess we can kind of just continue what we were talking about yesterday. So if somebody else wants to like kick it off, I don't want to take over or anything.
So I had a thought that especially where like right now, obviously, I mean, the high school is fully remote, as we all know, unfortunately. So I think it would definitely be beneficial to everyone if we kind of like really jump started, just where like it's getting darker, we're isolated, and I'm really thinking that this is gonna happen again, you know, especially within the winter months where people are getting sick with other things. I think we really need to look out for people's mental health. So I was thinking maybe we could even just send out a survey, like a Google form, kind of like we did for the Warrior logo. And maybe, you know, Anthony can send it. I mean, this is primarily for the high school just because I think it's more relevant, but obviously we can do it for Galvin too. But maybe we can send out a survey to Mrs. McLeod or Ms. Trapicante, and they can send it to the student body just to see where people are at. And then maybe like with our findings, we can kind of go from there, but also come up with some ideas in the meantime, just so then I feel like with that we can kind of gauge where we want to go, if it's more like towards hotlines or more towards restructuring the school day, if we can do that, or having more in-class support or outside of school support. I think that would really tell us a lot about what we should do.
I think that's a very good idea. Like, see where people are at, and then maybe, like, if there's something specific, like, I feel like what you're saying about the remote days, I feel like that's going to be a really big thing that people are going to point to and say, like, this is really hard for me. So hopefully there's, like, something we can work with the administration for, even, like, at the middle school, too. I know.
Yeah, maybe for the middle school, like we can obviously hang on to that survey in case they go fully remote. We might have to change some of the language, obviously. But maybe we could send out a middle school version, have Ali somehow do it within administration or not, to the fully remote students. Just because like I've experienced a lot, like I'm definitely more anxious than I am in school, just because it's different and it's a lot more time like in my own head, and I think that's a really common feeling. And I don't know, I just think it would be important to do it to all remote students at the middle school.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I could definitely help coordinate that with you guys.
I think too, just to make it go smoothly so you don't keep hitting those dead ends, is figure out who are your adult allies within the school that can move it along. Because maybe going to like Ollie's experience and going right to the top, they're dealing with so much, but figuring out, maybe Ollie works directly with Mr. Cedrone and gets that survey. And then I think at the high school level, Mr. Robertson and Mrs. Burns will be great allies for you. But you guys, Lauren hit the nail on the head. Any public health, you always want to do your assessment, or any strategy, you want to do your assessment first to find out really what is the need. I know I was going to send both principals the youth council meeting, like from when you guys started talking about different mental health challenges. From Ollie, did you watch the meeting? Yeah.
The one from Friday?
Yeah.
I have not had the chance yet to.
Okay.
I've been bombarded with so much work.
No. I didn't think you would, but I was just saying I thought the discussion was really good, and that you guys, I was even telling some of my friends the other day, I was like, oh, the way that I think it was you, Anthony, like talking like, oh, just all those like casual relationships you have and how much those add up to your well-being, and that taking all those away, and all that, being just with the same kids, and a lot of people, their social life revolves around the school. It doesn't exist otherwise. So figuring out how you can assess that. So I would, if I were you guys, to come up with kind of a rough draft of a survey and see if you could set up a meeting with maybe start at the high school level, set up a meeting with Mr. Robertson and Miss Robinson. He's the head of guidance, Mr. Robinson and Mrs. Burns, to see what do you guys think?
I think that's a really good idea. I know like administration and obviously like guidance and Miss Burns, they're very obviously into mental health. But I know they're super caring and try to be proactive. So I think obviously they're, like Ali said, like bombarded. I love that word. They're being bombarded with a lot of stuff. So I think if we can take that off of their plate, or at least help them with it a little bit, that might be good for us and for them.
Have you guys received have you been surveyed at all around your mental health or your well-being at all this year?
We did a quick one in the beginning, I think, but I'm pretty sure it was only like if we want support throughout the year, just with the transition. But no, we haven't gotten any one since like school started or since we went remote.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think because we've gone fully remote so recently, there obviously hasn't been really any feedback yet about how this system works. But as we sort of discussed on Friday, I feel like a lot of people are just sort of they're feeling kind of meh right now, I guess is the best way to describe it.
That's what one of the youth put. He was
Yeah,
just like,
what
meh.
William said, yeah. And
Yeah.
I feel like we could definitely be the force that tries to push that feedback out and to make it sort of known that there sort of is a need for whether, like Lauren said, some change in the schedule of some sort, or just some type of activity of sorts to help with getting those types of acquaintance like relationships back into swing to some degree.
I definitely agree with that. Like, I think it would be really helpful, especially with what Anthony was saying on Friday about like the casual relationships that you like brought up again, Catherine. I think that's like super, super important. Like, even I kind of underestimated how hard it was going to be, you know? So I feel like that's something everybody's going through, like maybe even like teachers, just like they don't get to see like all their kids in the halls or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's interesting. The youth action team at the middle school is doing a staff shout out contest where they're having the youth kind of write up a little staff shout out. And if someone enters the contest, they get put in for a drawing. But, you know, I think the teachers need as much pick me ups as possible, you know, and they're not necessarily always hearing best things. They're just hearing, you know, so I think, yeah, everyone needs it. But if you all can be the voice, what do you think would be the next best steps?
Like after a survey or like
Or
while
no,
we're
just
getting that?
to get the survey going.
Oh, okay. So like first, obviously we need to kind of come up with like what we want the gist of the survey to be. So I think it should definitely be like a collaborative effort between all of us because I really don't think one person can like cover it all. So I'm like keeping a running list of things we're talking about. So are there any like questions people want to like put on it that they have in their head right now, and I can send out like a doc where we can keep a running list? Just
Okay,
like
yeah,
spur
we
of the
just have to
moment.
be mindful of open meeting laws and how
Oh,
that
oops.
works. I know, I was thinking the same thing. I said, oh, we'll just get a shared doc going and we all contribute to it. But I think having that violates
Yeah.
open meeting laws. So I think, Alyssa, would you be comfortable being the point person if people send you questions?
Yeah. I can like keep a running form too and have it shared with everybody. Like I can get that set up after this.
Okay, that would be great because then you can, once you have a bunch of those questions, you feel free to send it to me and I can kind of clean it up a little bit and add because we do a lot of surveying. You guys are familiar with the youth risk behavior survey that we do every 2 years where it's like there's everything from violence to alcohol and drugs to how much water you're drinking and sleep you're getting. So there's some of those questions. So Alyssa, I can send that survey to you and you can kind of take a look at it. Obviously, this is going to be an anonymous survey, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. But you know, then okay. So you're going to work on the draft. Is someone going to reach out to Mr. Robinson and Miss Burns?
I can do that because I already reached out to Ms. Burns before, so I can reach out to the both of them at the same time.
Great. Yeah, because it would probably work well if it's just like a Zoom meeting like this where you talk about, okay, here's a draft of what we're thinking. Lauren, maybe you can talk about these are the ultimate goals, but we want to know what the issues are. And Anthony and Ollie, you can kind of share some of the challenges you've heard of peers and stuff like that, especially with all remote versus hybrid and or when people have to quarantine. I think that's a key thing that we still want to get across, because I've run into students that have had to quarantine multiple times, and that's not, yeah, that's really difficult.
Yeah.
I think while we're like kind of all just thinking about the questions that we want to ask for the survey, one like idea that kind of popped into my head was that like there's so many aspects of mental health. So like we should really be thinking about like obviously like anxiety, depression, and things that come with that, but also things that play into that, like sleeping, eating, like Catherine said, like drinking water. Like I think the really basic things are, you know, obviously kind of the building blocks for how people are doing. And everything is kind of fragile right now. So I think it would be important to kind of incorporate those building blocks into the big picture. Because not only can they help us with, you know, like figuring out what we want to do, but at the same time, like someone's taking the survey and they're like, oh shoot, like I haven't been drinking a lot of water, like I need to do that. I think there's kind of a dual purpose to that. So I think we should just kind of think about those little things that can play into mental health as we're thinking about the questions.
Yeah. As well as like the time of year, like I know like it's not like the right name, but like seasonal depression, it's like starting to hit people, especially now because people can't go out and like socialize or whatever. So that's something else I think we should keep in mind, because people might not answer, like they might think of as a whole, not just right now. So I think the phrasing of the questions is going to be very important as well.
Yeah, those short day, it's getting dark out right now, and it's
Yeah.
barely 4:00. So, and the holidays, there are suicide rates go up, and it's really scary. So we want to be mindful. Yeah.
One thing I think we should add, just as you said that, I just kind of thought of it, was that I know for some people, like I know at the beginning of the youth risk behavior survey, it says like if you want to complete this with an adult or something, maybe we could do that, because you know we don't want anyone to get like triggered or anything like that. You know, we want this to be helpful and not harmful. So I think we need to be mindful of the way we're asking questions and kind of approaching it in a friendly way, rather than like, oh, you should like, you know, be ashamed of yourself. Like we don't want that at all.
Yeah.
So I think the overall tone of this should be like recognizing that it's hard, but then also thinking about how we can get better and kind of grow from this experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we can probably take some inspiration from the risk behavior survey, like how all the phrasing and things like that. I think that'll be really helpful to kind of compare the tone and things like that.
The other tool, I sent it out to the youth council. I don't know who took me up on it, is the state Department of Public Health put out a youth and COVID survey. Did anyone see that? I sent it out to you guys. Did you take it?
Yeah.
I wonder if that had any, I think it was a Google form, so I'm not sure if we'd be able to see the questions, but I might be able to get a hold. I can email someone at DPH and get a hold of those questions, because there might be something interesting in that we can draw from. So DPH, I'm just writing a note to get that survey, and I'll pull out some questions from.
Has the data of that been made public already, or is it still being like calculated at all?
Right, they were still looking for more youth to take the survey, so
Yeah.
that's why I was trying to push it out. That could be something that you could push out on Instagram too. It's just like, hey, DPH is, looking to see how COVID is impacting us young people in Massachusetts. Take a few moments.
Once you get it, Catherine, do you mind like sending me the link again so I can push that out?
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. I'll find that.
Okay, great. Thank you. I can get that set up soon. Okay. So like ideas that aren't the survey. Like the survey is like a super fabulous idea, but that's gonna take like time and like a lot of refining to put together before we can send that out. Like, does anybody have any ideas on what we can do kind of in the meantime, like to support people or to maybe like try and find a more casual way? I guess you could say it like that, of like communicating with youth and seeing what they're concerned about, like for mental health, and what we could maybe do.
Maybe like on our Instagram and Facebook. I'm not sure like how Anthony and Ali would do this. I mean, maybe you could do something with like Get Up Galvin. But maybe, sorry, my dog is barking. Maybe with the Instagram and the Facebook, we could even just do like, here's some conversation, like text conversation starters to ask someone how they're doing, or because I like it can be awkward to text someone and be like, hey, what's up? Like, let's talk for the first time in 6 months since the pandemic started. Like, so maybe we could do something like that just to make it more a little more approachable and friendly and less awkward, because all teenagers are.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. That would be very helpful for me included.
So Lauren, just to refresh, this is you put out posts that say, remember to check in on your friends you haven't seen in a while. Here are some good conversation starters or something like that. So that would be I think there are already things out there like that. So that's.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then maybe like different ways to ask someone how they're doing and, stuff like that, just to make it a little more like user friendly, I guess.
No, and honestly, that works, because I saw one of those the other morning, and I was just having my coffee, and I was like, oh, I should ask so and so how they're doing, and I shot them a quick text, and then it started a whole conversation. So I think those are helpful.
Yes, I really like that idea. I think that's also part of what might be causing people like to distance themselves or whatever. Like they don't know how to reach out. Like even if they do, it's kind of like, oh, like I don't want to just weird somebody out or whatever. Like I know that happens to me. So I think that would definitely be super beneficial.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people make excuses. Oh, they're always hanging out with that person, and and they put things in their head of why not to reach out. So I think that would be great.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think you guys can play a huge role in just that peer-to-peer communication. And then, like we said in the meeting the other day, partnering with administration or partnering with town and city town leaders to change things. And, if there's need for something around youth mental health in the town that the town doesn't have. Fortunately, Wakefield has a lot, but maybe more needs to be done with the school, just in this unique environment. I think they're doing a great job, but
maybe we could also like do something just like a quick like how are you doing, like how are you feeling with like school right now or something like that, like just like phrase better than what I just said, but something like that, because there's like the little slide things, I don't know what they're called at this point, that we could like put on a story and like be like good, okay, like stuff like that. So it's like quick, it doesn't take a ton of people's time, but they can still like give us input as to like how majority of people are doing.
Right. Or maybe you can say, with the ones where they have the picture and they have like dog A, B, so you have one dog like running through a meadow, and then the other dog like laid out, another dog like, which dog are you, how are you feeling today? And that's like a fun way to engage people, and they can say like, I'm feeling, like the meh dog,
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of those, I've seen a lot of like Michael from The Office, and I know a lot of people our age watch it. One other idea I had was maybe we can ask people for like I mean, this would be more for Instagram rather than Facebook, but maybe they could DM us like, a few lines of inspiration, and then we can post it anonymously and be like, this is from a peer, like one of your peers. Remember to blah, blah, blah. That might be a fun way to personalize it a little bit, and people can be like, wow, like I said that and it, it did well, or maybe it made, I don't know. I just think that would be cool.
Yes, I definitely like that idea. Or maybe
All right,
like,
Alyssa, you're going to be busy with all
I
these.
am. It's okay. It's all right.
Oh, and did you all get my email from Counselor Chines, who's looking for someone to give input to the new Wakefield? Did you see that email?
Yeah, I actually meant to ask you, like, what does that entail? Like, what are they trying to do? I
all
meant to
right.
respond, but I forgot.
I know, and I meant to bring it up at the meeting, and then it got busy again. Let me. So they are looking for a youth council representative. They're forming a vision and value statement for the town of Wakefield. So a vision and value statement. Have you seen like vision statements for different organizations? And it'd be like to foster a healthy community where people young to old feel valued, and I don't know. But like they would kind of work to say like what do we truly value in Wakefield? What's most important, and what are our primary values? So like when decisions come up, they can say, does this go back to our vision and values? Like as when they look at like the lake, project, or they look at different things that come up, oh, do we want to be a community that values the environment, or do we want to be a community that commuting is important to us and that we want to make sure that it equal access or something, whatever that is. So you would be part of that process, and you would be bringing the young people's voice to that process.
I think the high school, I know like we obviously have one. I'm pretty sure like when you walk in the main door, the banner by like the pride flag across from the like band hall.
Yeah,
the one that's like way
when
up.
the classes donated.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's there, like across from like the faculty bathrooms, like going down the superintendent's hall, like that doorway. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay, so yeah, so you would have something like that, because I'm sure the high school has a vision and value statement. You would just be on a committee that would meet 2 or 3 times to develop a vision and value statement for the town of Wakefield, which should be pretty cool, and that you could put that on your resume, and you get to interact with a lot of decision and policymakers in the town. But if anyone here is interested, if not, you can volunteer someone else on the youth council, and I can go bother them.
If you want to put me down for that, I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Me too.
Okay, so both of you would be interested?
Yeah, and I can
Yeah,
definitely
I'd
do
love to
some
do
like
that.
outreach on like what values people like feel like Wakefield represents and something like that, if that's something that committee is interested in us doing and bringing
Okay.
back to them.
Okay, all right. I
Honestly,
will.
I'm sorry. I would say why not? I'll join as well.
Oh,
I have a
you
whole cycle.
guys. All right. I'll just tell him we have 3 that are interested, and if not, we will. I'll see if he how he responds to that. But that's awesome. Thank you guys, because I think it would be really interesting, and it'll be a Zoom meeting, so you can if it gets a little boring, you can work on your homework. No, just kidding. But it sometimes those meetings can go a little long. I know. How many of you have you been to many town council meetings, Alyssa?
I went to like all the summer ones, and I haven't been able to go to a lot of the ones lately because they're all
Yeah.
like during practice.
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
busy. So, no, and that's the thing. We don't expect people to. Ollie, you were going to conservation meetings for a little bit. You still don't go to all of them, do you?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
The conservation meetings, do you still go to those sometimes?
Yes, I do still go to them sometimes. Yes, I couldn't go to the last one though.
Yeah, those are long too. They can be, but yeah. So I will send Counselor Chines that email. Thank you all. I hopefully it's a good experience, but you'll learn something, and it's always great to take those opportunities and build connections and everything. So, and Anthony and Alyssa, how's the college application process going? Do you have any submitted yet?
I have 6 of 10 submitted and 1 decision. So
Oh, good.
we're almost there.
All right. What about you,
I have
Anthony?
one submitted so far, but I'm gonna start definitely. I did mostly regular decision, and I'm hoping that before vacation in December, like I'll be all good and I won't have to worry about them.
Oh,
And I'll be done
I
with.
feel for you guys. It's a tough time to be going through this process, but hopefully this means you might have a somewhat normal freshman year of college. So good luck. All right. I just heard we did a Zoom with some of our family in India yesterday, and we just found out our niece is applying early decision to Vassar in New York. So I hope she comes here so I can be her family. We can be her family in the States.
Yeah, early decisions should be out like in a few weeks. So yeah, I don't have any EDs, so I have to wait for mine.
I just like personally, I was like, I'm the type of person who wants to see the school physically. I couldn't commit to doing early decisions for anything.
Yeah. It was a little
Ollie and
too
I are
much.
just sitting back and waiting for our turn.
Start
Yeah, so
doing some
the
virtual
campus-
tours, Lauren.
Will they not even let you on campus, most of them?
I think for most of them they're virtual.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the emails.
there's like virtual stuff, but it is not even close to the same. And I know some campuses are like open, but they're not doing like guided tours. There was like select schools that were, but some were like, just come walk around, social distance. And I was like, it's in DC, so I can't exactly do that.
No. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I don't blame you at all. So, all right. Well, hang in there.
Okay, so we have like 15 minutes left, right? Yes, about 15 minutes left. So does anybody have anything else to like talk about for the outreach? Okay. If anybody has any ideas or whatever, you can always just like email me, text me them, and I can write them down for the next meeting. Okay, so the next thing is to decide the next meeting date. So the next full council meeting was, I don't remember already, the 11th. So I know everything gets hectic in December. So would you guys want to do that week? Because I know the week after is like probably going to be crazy.
I mean, personally, I'm free the 14th. So if you want to do like that same, just like 3 weeks from now, I'm all good to do that. But I'm otherwise, I mean, I'm open to definitely some other dates if that doesn't work for other people.
Does the 14th at this time work for everybody else? Okay. I guess we'll just stick with that then. So then we can have a last meeting of the year update. Okay. All right. So if nobody has anything else they want to talk about, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion.
A nice second.
All right. We got to
Okay,
do
now I
the.
have to take roll call.
I know. All right. So myself, yes. Anthony,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Ali.
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Nice meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Have a nice day.